I've mentioned in previous videos that on the tabletop, I've played Imperial Guard and Space Wolves. Do me a favor, drop a comment below with your favorite army to play in the grim darkness of the far future, and hey, maybe subscribe while you're down there. You'll then get to know what and when I post each week without needing an unclean psyker to peer into the warp. I've always thought of the Blood Angels chapter as interesting. Sometimes they get thirsty, and sometimes they get mad and go through a YOLO goth phase. I've actually learned a lot from Battlesector, and I like what I'm learning. I went into Warhammer 40k Battlesector not really knowing much. I knew it was a turn-based strategy game, I knew that the Blood Angels chapter was involved, and I knew that the Tyranids were the enemy. That's about it. The story of the game, at least partially, is about the introduction of the Primaris Marines, an addition to the lore that absolutely isn't a shameless cash grab by Games Workshop to create new models to sell. That being said, I found it enjoyable. I'm not completely up to date on the 40k lore stuff. I haven't been reading the books. I've been trying to keep caught up with the Horus Heresy, actually. But I know that basically, before Cadia falls, spoiler alert, there's a massive Tyranid fleet, and that's when this game takes place. Baal is under siege by the Tyranids, and it's up to you to assemble a team made up of various troops and vehicles from the Blood Angels army list to fight your way through a 20-mission campaign. There are enough abilities and systems in play that even tabletop veterans probably use at least a little bit of a primer before bringing the fight to the Xenos Scourge with the Sons of Sanguinius. That's why I would recommend doing the in-game tutorials. They're actually pretty interesting. I love the flexibility of army that you get with the army list. The first mission, I went with 3 heavy weapons teams, and it was fun and functional, but it felt like the slow, methodical advance you would expect from Guilliman's Ultramarines more than the rapid strike of the Blood Angels. If I were to replace 2 of those heavies with Assault Marines, things would have played out way differently. Now, obviously there's nothing stopping you from creating a manual save before mission, peeking your head in, looking around, seeing what the opposition is, and then promptly loading that save to tailor your team to directly counter the Tyranids. With that said, I enjoyed using the intel I had to make a guess and adjusting on the fly to the shifting battlefield with whatever army I brought. You'll start the campaign with an Assault Marine Sergeant as your HQ unit, but quickly gain a Sanguinary Priest, and these single model units are the source of your research tree. You'll gain points for completing missions that you can spend on active abilities for the HQ units, as well as passive bonuses. There's a lot of variety in army builds you can make, and you can go really deep into these research trees. The visuals and presentation are where I feel this game stands head and shoulders above pretty much any other Warhammer 40k strategy options that we've got on Steam at present. We've been so desperate to play in the universe that we've endured clunky UI or lower quality unit models. That isn't the case here. The user interface can get a little on the busy side with the abilities and weapons, but it's pretty streamlined while still looking plenty grimdark. The models and weapon effects look amazing. I'd argue they look as good as Creative Workshop's Total War Warhammer series, which is the pinnacle of tabletop computer wargaming if you ask me. Bolters look and sound different than flamers or plasma guns. Units are animated in a way that, while it's still obvious they're moving on a grid, it looks believable. Some of the Tyranids look damn cool too. My only real concern is that after the campaign, there's not a hell of a lot to do. There are skirmish missions, both single player and PvP, but I don't really see that having a huge scene, at least not until the devs work through their year roadmap and add some of the DLC factions. Who knows though, maybe I'm wrong, maybe this is a new esport that we're all witnessing the birth of. Now mod support would be great, but I don't really think the devs have the resources to add that. I am interested to see what the new modes are and how it plays on console, but I think it's probably best to consider this product complete and not really expect any more. It certainly isn't a games as a service type deal. Now I would say that this is a definite buy at the $40 price point for 40k fans. If you just want a sci-fi strategy game to play for hours on end, I'd wait for a pretty deep sale or maybe look elsewhere. But until next time, brothers, I've been Septimus with the Grim Alliance, and remember, the Emperor protects.